What's up everybody? Welcome back to Golf Simulator Videos. Today we have a very exciting video for you. One that a lot of people have been asking for, but demand has just been a little crazy on this. This is the Foresight Sports GC3 Golf Launch Monitor. Also is known as the Bushnell Launch Pro because they actually have two different models that are being produced. So it's the same exact hardware, all right? The device itself is the same, but what they're doing is from the Bushnell model, they're allowing the unit to be sold for $3,000 with a subscription price for software and add-ons, and then they're offering the GC3, which is kind of an all-in-one purchase. So for $7,000, the unit's fully unlocked, delivers all the club data, comes with Foresight Sports FSX 2020 software. It's ready to go. You don't need anything else on top of that. So let's go ahead and get started and unbox this thing. We're going to talk about it along the way. I actually had an opportunity to speak with one of the chief technical officers at Foresight Sports. We discussed some things that I think you're really going to like to hear about, you know, some technical specifications about the unit. You know, I learned a little bit that I didn't know, even with, you know, press releases and things they talked about. So let's just go ahead and start unboxing the unit, and we'll talk a little bit. Now, for those of you that might not be that familiar with Foresight Sports, maybe you're just researching your first home golf simulator, you know, and that's what the channel was kind of founded on, is people looking to build a home golf simulator in their house or garage or business with commercial space, whatever it may be. You know, Foresight Sports has been around for years. Their first unit, the GC2, which had two high-speed cameras. It did have a built-in screen. It kind of sat like this, just like a little bit of an L. That unit really kind of changed the industry, you know, with ball tracking. A side device that could measure the ball, you know, and actually measure spin. And that's something that a lot of people, you know, don't necessarily understand in the indoor space, that, you know, in order to get the proper ball flight, you have to measure spin axis of a ball. Other than measuring, you would be calculating, and there could be a margin of error. And so, you know, through all of my testing, you know, camera devices indoor definitely have, you know, really stood out to me to be able to, you know, precisely measure the golf ball and that spin axis. You know, I think there's a lot of different technology in the you know, indoor space, and I think it can be right for everybody. But I just always want everybody to understand where that data is getting derived from, and so just understand that you know, spin axis is such a, you know, important data point, and cameras really allow the ease of use to measure that. So let's get this thing out of the box. So really nice boxing. You can see that they actually have you know, the foam corners on it to protect the actual GC3 box itself. Get that out of there. All right, we'll get this put aside. I always like doing an unboxing, you know, so people can expect, you know, how a unit would show up. You know, the quality boxing, which I appreciate. You know, pretty cool looking box. Obviously the unit stamped right on the front, GC3. Let's take this off the top here, or the front. Get this off here all the way. Hello, there we go. All right. Welcome to a better play. Everything you need to change your game. As the newest addition to the storyline of GC launch monitors, and just so you guys understand, GC, it's game changer. That's where they came up with that originally. So game changer launch monitors. The GC3 delivers everything you need to take your game to a whole new level. Use it outdoor on the range or on the course for instant game performance feedback. Use it indoors for the ultimate golf simulation experience. No other launch monitor delivers a level of accuracy, versatility, and portability for the price. And I'll tell you what, they have really hit a little pocket of the market here for a portable golf launch monitor. As you guys probably know, if you're, you know, a subscriber of the channel, we added GC Quad a while ago, and incredible device. You know, at the price point it's at and its capabilities, probably more of a professional level, you know, unless you're a luxury buyer, you know, and you know, you can afford this type of level of, you know, data and everything it delivers. You know, you didn't quite have access to something like this. Well, this is coming in at a pocket that I just think is really, really awesome at the $7,000 price range. No, it's not cheap. And, you know, something I've tried to explain to a lot of people over the years is that accuracy doesn't come cheap. I mean, it's technology that costs money, and it's just like anything else. You know, you get what you pay for. So just understand that. All right, let's see if we can get this thing out of the box here and show you guys the GC3. There it is. Now I do have some cool things to share with you guys. These technical specifications that I found, you know, are pretty cool to understand the difference, especially if you were comparing and thinking about getting a GC Quad versus a GC3. Says, congratulations on your new purchase. Want to get the most out of your new Foresight products? Register online today. Get instant access to the latest product updates, frequently asked questions, and a full library of video instruction. I think that's cool that they're offering all of that. It does come with a warranty. That's good to know. Here's the unit itself. Man, I love the quality of the Foresight products. Even when they started with GC2 and then obviously GC Quad. Let's get the Quad next to this so we can first talk a little bit about size and footprint. So the GC3 is actually several pounds lighter, okay? Also has a smaller footprint. It does still have a built-in touchscreen, so understand that. You can see you have 3 cameras versus 4 cameras on the Quad. Something to point out that I think a lot of people are a little confused by, because you can see these infrared lights on the top and bottom. Well, all 3 cameras are infrared. So something cool that you guys would, might question. That's cool to know. The top and bottom cameras actually are what is measuring the club, and all 3 measure the ball. You're talking about frame rates upwards of 10,000 frames per second, and on average is about 3,000 frames per second. It depends on what mode it's in and what it's measuring. A couple cool little points that I'll point out while we're talking about cameras. So he was sharing some of this with me. The exposures go down to 1/100,000th of a second, all right, to freeze each image. And I've talked about that in the past. A lot of people always think frames per second. Well, frames per second is fine. That's how many frames you're capturing per second. But that shutter speed that freezes each image is what makes it clear. All right, and that way you can actually see what's going on. And at 1/100,000th of a second, you're able to freeze a golf ball quite well. So, and then the precision, the image capture precision, down to 10 nanoseconds, and that's how they're providing that ultimate accuracy of every single picture that they're taking. It's a rugged outer shell, high impact polycarbonate, which is really cool, rubberized exterior, and I noticed that. I really do like the material that they picked on this. Very cool. It does have the handle. All right, let's look at the back really quick. Power button, USB-C, along with an Ethernet port, and then you have your power port. All right. Now, something you should understand, and I'm going to specify this. This is probably one question that I didn't get answered right away. This actually has a permanent, non-removable battery. Okay, so it doesn't just pop right out. Versus the GC Quad actually does have a removable battery. So I think I'm going to ask them, if there were to be. I mean, these batteries are unbelievable. I mean, this thing lasts upwards of 8 hours, just so you understand. Quad lasts on average maybe a few hours more, but you're getting 7-8 hours out of this thing. I mean, if you were an instructor, and this was in your budget, this was the unit that fit you. I mean, you could go out in the range and do lessons practically all day long. So that's really awesome. But I just want to make sure that, let's say we had a battery failure down the road at some point in time. I'm assuming that you're just going to send the unit in and just get it serviced. So their service is fantastic. So just understand that. What else do I want to talk about really quick? I like technical specifications. These are things that you can't just look up online. So it's fun sharing these with you guys. All of the optical assembly is housed in an internal 3-axis shock mount. All right, I think that's really important. So you're moving this unit around, it's portable, you're out on the course, the range, indoor, whatever you're doing. That's really awesome. It's also weather resistant. I don't think that was talked about a lot. I mean, this thing can be out on the course with you, and it's weather resistant. All right, processing, it has 4-arm processors with core frequencies up to 1 gigahertz. All right, custom hardware image processing pipeline performing more than 500 billion operations a second, providing real-time results. I mean, that's incredible. It does have auto leveling. You do have an alignment stick that comes with the unit. All right. I showed you guys how this works in the previous GC Quad videos, and I'll show you even when we get this unit all set up. But this just snaps right together. Okay, and then you set it down, and I want to say it's upwards of 10 degrees. Don't hold me to that because I'm saying it on the fly, but I'm almost positive you can move that up to 10 degrees before you would want to move the unit, because you're going to a totally different flag or something like that that's across the range or whatever you're doing. So just understand that. But very cool that you can just use this alignment stick and you have a precise target line. It's just so simple to use. Lay it down, it locks in. All right. It does have that LCD touchscreen, and it is back illuminated. All right, so very cool if you're in a darker atmosphere or environment, I should say. It does have a barometer for altitude. All right, that way you can get the proper flight characteristics depending on what elevation you're at. I think that's amazing. And that's, once again, like I said, you get what you pay for, right? Well, you have a barometer inside of this. I mean, that's just amazing. It does have Bluetooth outside of what we talked about on the back. Works indoors and outdoors in all lighting conditions. That's something that everybody should talk about. I mean, we've had the quad, and this works in total darkness as well with the infrared, out on the putting green at night. I mean, doing, putting practice. So, it's very cool that you can actually use this in total darkness, so infrared at its best right there. Other than that, you do have a direct software update, which I think is really cool. So if you're connected via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, you can do your software or firmware updates on the unit, right from the unit itself. You don't have to have a laptop with you or something like that. I think that's really cool. I talked about the top and the bottom cameras being for the club, and then all three track the image for the ball. For enhanced precision, they compute all of that together, both for speed, path, and spin, and it's technically a triscopic unit. Okay, so just understand that that's what they're working with here, is that all three cameras are working together. You don't just have one sitting there for no reason if you're not in a certain mode, which I think is just very important. The hitting space, all right, is not a perfect square. All right, you can see how it actually has an angle on the top of it. So it is technically about 8.5 inches wide by 8 to 12 inches long. That's on the shortest section, all right, versus the longest being 12 inches long. So I just wanted everybody to understand, the size of the hitting area. I mean, that's pretty substantial, especially if you're indoor, it'd be very, very easy. And if you're outdoor, you could simply just move the unit, a foot or so into another hitting space if you're hitting a ton of balls. If you're hitting driver, obviously you wouldn't be taking divots, so there wouldn't be really much concern there, but it's a very nice hitting space. And then, other than that, we can look inside the box here before. I'm sure everybody's excited to see this thing fired up and hooked up to software, and we'll give you some demonstrations. So you have your USB-C cord, all right, that's included, nice and long. You can reach over your desktop or laptop, whatever you're doing. You have your AC power adapter. Depends on what you like. A lot of times I leave mine plugged in all the time. Just understand that you do have some battery maintenance recommendations where you'd want the battery to go down and fully discharge maybe like once a month, I want to say is what the recommendation is. So other than that, let's talk really quick about the information that's provided. All right, you have launch angle, side angle, ball speed, total spin, carry, side spin, club head speed, smash factor, club path, and angle of attack. All right, the differences between the quad is that it's going to be adding the loft and lie, the face angle, the impact location, and the closure rate. Okay, so it does not have putting analysis, but you'll be able to use putting, okay, as far as like simulation, everything like that, basic putting. It just doesn't have those advanced putting features, all right? Other than that, like I said, it's got the fixed battery. I mean, I think we've covered pretty much everything, barometric sensor, the barometer, accelerometer, I don't think that I mentioned that, but it comes with a 1-year warranty, which is nice, peace of mind, and it is 2.5 pounds lighter than quad. So I knew it was a couple pounds, 2.5 pounds lighter. So, I mean, just a portable unit, all right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get this thing connected to our computer. We're going to launch FSX 2020. We're going to give you guys some demonstration shots and a first look at the Foresight Sports GC3, or like I said, AKA Bushnell Launch Pro. And you can see even on the GC3, they actually have a Bushnell, partnership logo on there. It doesn't say Launch Pro on it, but this is a Foresight Sports GC3. I'm sure a lot of you heard about the acquisition and the merger, with the parent company. I think it's Vista, which actually owned Bushnell and then now owns Foresight Sports. So giving them a lot of power in the marketplace. I mean, I don't care who you talk to when you have a business like that has, now a lot of resources being thrown at it. I think it's really exciting. I think that it's going to be awesome to see how things progress and, continue to develop. So let's get this thing hooked up and give you guys a first look at the Foresight Sports GC3. All right, guys, welcome back inside the GSV studio. We have the Foresight Sports GC3 launch monitor hooked up and ready to go. Very simple process, let me tell you. The first thing I did once I got the unit powered up is I actually went in, used the touch screen and went into Wi-Fi. I found my local Wi-Fi network here in the studio, punched in my password, connected to the internet so I could make sure I was on the latest firmware and everything. And it was very simple to do. I hit disconnect, went over to my PC, searched for the unit. You put in all caps, FS Sports. I connected via wireless, and then we're ready to go. And what's kind of cool is just in case someone's in this type of situation where you have multiple licenses. So when I got this unit, all right, I had an additional license because I already had a license on this PC for my quad. So I actually installed the other license on my PC, I'm sorry, my laptop, and then I have this license on my PC, and I can connect to this existing license that easy. So it's pretty cool. You can use, you know, different units on your license that you have bound to a computer. So cool stuff. Figured I would point that out. Other than that, we're ready to go. I'm going to give you guys some demonstrations. We're going to focus a little bit on shot shapes because I want you guys to understand that that spin axis is so important, and this has the ability of reading that literally within a very, very close range of GC quad. And you talk about a price difference here. I mean, that's really important. So you know that you can get reliable, you know, tour level type data out of a machine that is, you know, a fraction of the cost of that top tier. And you're going to get a ton of good data points. I mean, all the ball data that you need, including some powerful club data that can allow you to work on your game, or whether it be instructing a student, whatever it may be. So really cool stuff. So let's go ahead and dive right out. Before I do that, I want to make sure that you guys have had a chance to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. Comment below any questions you have and what you'd like to see with the GC3. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to hit some shots. I figured I'd do a little bit of chipping and then putting because everybody likes to see those type of things. So we'll do that really quick without dragging the video on too long. Obviously a first look video, but let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, if you guys are looking to purchase a GC3, make sure you shoot me an email. I'll pin it to the top of the comments and put it in the description. But we'll shrink this video down a little bit so it's not blocking too much. I think that's okay there. And then we're going to go into improve, out to the range. And then the first thing, I might want to pause for a second and let you guys see where it says barometer. I'm actually using the barometer inside the GC3. So I'm about 800 feet above sea level here, and it knows that and is automatically depicting that inside the software, which is cool. A couple things you want to do, go up here and select your club. I'm going to be hitting an iron. That will actually be able to depict the club data properly on, you know, the right looking club, okay? And then I'm just going to select the distance. I'll select 150. I have a single dot sticker put onto an 8-iron already, so we should be good to go there. And then I think we're all set. You know what I'll do? I'll show you guys, if you're not familiar with what the fiducials look like. So this is my 8-iron, and you can see the one dot that's right in the center top of the club. All right, that's what's allowing the cameras to track the club and give you, you know, the path information and so on. So very simple just to put one dot on there. All right, so let's go ahead and just fire off a shot for you. And then we'll try to do some different shots so you guys can have an idea of how well this thing is reading the spin axis. Pretty decent strike. I feel like it's going to be a little in to out with a closed club face. Not too bad. Because I pulled it, it went a little bit further than I'm normally hitting it. Sure enough, 2.21 in to out, okay? And probably a little bit of a closed club face based on how it felt, but a little further inside out than I'd like. Let's talk about the ball placement really quick. I told you it was about 8.5 inches by 12. It's very substantial. So if you move this to like both sides of my hitting mat, I am okay. And then I have 12 inches basically to move this around. Plenty big in my opinion, especially even if you're out at the range. I mean, that's a lot of divots you're gonna take before you would move this to a new spot. All right, so if you're hitting driver, you wouldn't have to at all because you wouldn't have any divots. So let's try to correct that now. All right, so let's try to correct that 2.2 into out. See if I can get this to be a little more of a fade. Get that path working a little bit, maybe outside in if I can, or square. There you go. Just kind of a baby fade on the ball, you know, just right at target. And let's see what, I'm 0.41 into out. So I really corrected that path. It felt like it. I saw the results. This is the type of stuff that I like to do with the FSX software. And if you guys haven't seen the FSX Play software that I gave a first look to, make sure you check that out, all right? It's in the channel. But that's really what I like to see. That ball started just a little bit right of target and then ended up a little bit right, okay? So that was that, you know, change of path and face that I was looking for. So now let's try to hit a draw, all right? Let's say I'm trying to start this ball out to the right and have it come back to the right. I'll try to maybe even exaggerate it a little bit. See how far I started over to the right? There it is coming back to the target line. All right, I mean, that's exactly what I was looking for. Distances, spot on. I mean, I probably should have set the target at about 155. That's my carry distance for an 8-iron generally, depending on what I'm hitting. Is about 155. I can stretch it to 160 or so, just depends. I just didn't really warm up, so I didn't know what kind of results I'd get, but I just love the fact that I can look down, backlit, built-in screen. all right? And it's cycling through everything right now, showing me my ball speed, my club speed, all right, my path, my angle of attack, my side spin, my back spin. I'm a fan of looking at side spin as a number, and it gives you that option. Understand that you can see it as a spin axis degree or a number. All right, so I like seeing the back spin total and then the side spin. All right, pretty cool, but efficiency, all that information is in there. Now let's just take a peek inside the software really quick before we move on. If you go up to these 3 trajectory lines, you can actually review all of the data from what we were just looking at. So if you have video cameras hooked up, I don't have them hooked up today, but I've done an imaging source video you guys should check out in the channel. All right, they're the cameras that work with your FSX software. Make sure you check that out. I'm just not doing video today. I don't have my lights on and everything like that, but I can go to ball data. All right, and I can look at all of the different ball data. Now that's for that specific shot, or I can go through other shots, see how it says last, or I can look at all. All right, and then I can do the same for club data. I can pull that up, and here's that shot where I went way inside out, all right, and then closed that face down and had that ball come way back left. I love seeing that in such a visual aspect. It's so easy to understand when you look at this, all right. You can see I was only a degree downward. I didn't quite get my angle of attack because I was, so offset there. And then you can go to a table and you can look at the different shots. So I can say, hey, there's my average ball speed on an 8-iron. All right, there's my average launch angle, side angle, backspin, all right, everything along those lines. I'm really not disappointed with those shots for really not being warmed up. We're just gonna fire off a few for you guys really quick. And then now what we can do is I can actually right click, all right, up by the green, and we can do a little bit of chipping really quick. I think that'd be nice to show you guys, like short chipping. So this is a flat green. I don't need to turn on, the grid or anything like that. And it's only 13 yards, which is actually a really difficult chip right by a green. So I have to think in my head here how far I want this to carry to get it up by the pin. But this is the whole point, is to show you guys little chipping, all right? So I almost want this ball to only carry probably like, you figure it's total about 36 feet to the pin or so, 39 feet to the pin. So only want to carry it maybe like 20 feet and let it roll up. Let's see what we can do here, all right? Not bad for my first attempt. And honestly, I didn't even strike it as well as I'd like to. I think that it just does a great job of picking up these little precise, shots. And when you're playing simulation golf, and we will go out on the course and play holes, all right? I will go out and play at least 9 holes or 18 holes. Everybody likes to see on-course play. But let's just go ahead and see if we can hit a little bit of a flop shot now. Like I had to get up and over a little bunker, which would be extremely difficult for being a soft flop shot. Let's see if we can do that. There you go. Ball didn't quite release as much. All right, couple perfect examples of how well this triscopic technology, is reading that. Like I said, guys, I mean, you're talking about upwards of 10,000 frames per second that are measuring the ball. It makes the difference. And so instantaneous too. Another thing I want to point out, that when you're installing your software, you actually put in your room dimensions. And I don't know if you've noticed yet or not, but where that ball hits on the screen is exactly where the line takes off from. And I feel like that is an immersive experience. And a lot of software doesn't do that. And it really makes you feel like you're here and that you're actually making that chip. So we'll do one more that will probably go past the pin. But let's say we really wanted it to roll out. We'll do like a low punch shot. And you can see that ball release more. So very realistic ball characteristics for chipping. All right, we're not going to do driving today just because I haven't even swung a driver, and there's so much to cover. We'll go out and we'll play holes and we'll do driver. But let's do putting really quick, because these are the type of things, I mean, the majority of people that I'm talking to are, what is that, 6.5 feet, 12.5 feet. We'll go to maybe a little, somewhere there, 8 foot putt I think will be good. Majority of people that I'm talking to are purchasing the Foresight Sports GC3 or Bushnell Launch Pro for a simulation experience. They want to be able to easily put this in their home, and just understand, I may be in a full simulator right now. You could be set up into a net with a TV or just staring at your laptop off to the side. Its portability and connectivity allows you to do that. And I think that's very important, Self-leveling. If, like, let's say for putting, you didn't have a smooth surface like I do, well, it's only going to read about the first 12 or 14 inches, if that, for putting. That's all it needs. It can precisely measure that with so many frames and such a frozen image. Let's check it out. All right, so 8 feet 11 inches. I'm trying to remember where my stimp is right now. Let's see, I want to say it's right about that 10 mark, which would be about that dot, would be about 8 feet or so. Perfectly straight putt, perfectly in the hole. That's what I like to see. And I do have dots on my putter. You can see that it actually said club path, but I don't know if the 3 dot is compatible with GC3 yet. That's something where I have to get the technical team back, on the phone. I'll talk to them and I'll verify that. But I noticed that it was showing like club path and face to target. It's very interesting. I don't know if it's measuring all of that or if it's just picking that up because I have the fiducials and it's just, making an estimate based on that. But it's very interesting that it's showing that. It may be a compatibility thing that it actually has and future things that are coming. I thought that was very interesting. So you guys will have to let me know what you're seeing, but I don't think that it's doing it properly because it has 1 dot technology. It's looking for 1 dot. Can you place 1 dot on your putter? I need to verify that. I didn't think it doesn't have putting analysis listed. So does it do path of putter or not? I need to verify. Oh, just made it in there. So, you can see now there's one more thing that I'll show on putting that I think you guys will want to see. Obviously, you can make these 8-foot putts. So yeah, you see how the putter is all over the place? See how it says like 8 degree into out? That's because I have all these 3 dots for quad on here. So let's go super close. All right, 3 feet 2 inches. All right, this is a tiny putt. Watch this precision. This is what I appreciate about these high-speed cameras. You can sink in a little 3-foot putt so easily, and I think that that's awesome. A lot of people will play with no gimmies. Don't get me wrong. I think 10-foot gimmies are like very popular in the simulator world, but the fact that you can go out there and literally putt every putt out if you want to, I think that's really important. I will give you guys kind of a preview really quick. For those of you that are shopping around, you're on this video, let's go ahead and exit really quick. And I'll just show you one of the included courses. One of them that's my favorite is the Farms. Okay, a very cool course. What you can do is set your conditions, set your rules, all right, set your players, and then start and go out to the course. I figured I would show this to you guys really quick, just because it's it's such a cool course. It's a lot of fun to play. It'll give you guys a little idea of the graphical representation of FSX 2020, but you have to make sure that you check out the FSX play videos that I'm doing and what's coming with this software. So let's just do a quick flyover really quick. See how smooth the graphics are. All right, this is a challenging course, let me tell you. We'll just skip ahead really quick. Check that out, 170-yard downhill par 3. Looks like you almost have to like fade it in there. Really, really cool. We'll skip ahead again. All right, there's one around the water. We could do a quick flyby of that. This course is just tight. There's a lot of like penalty area around. You can see the greens aren't big. It's challenging. It's fun. I like having a challenge like that. There's another par 4. There's another par. Look at this. 183 yards. All right, to try to get that. Let's swing one really quick. 183 yards. What is that? A 6-iron? Why not? Why not? Let's see if we can get one down there. That is an incredibly difficult shot. Let's see if I can manage to maybe get a 6-iron down there on the green. Tried to hit a little bit of a draw because I'm not swinging super hard, but I'm making great contact. Look, it's going to go a little bit too far. Not bad at all. I'll take it. My draw kind of gave me the distance that I needed, that's for sure. I didn't select the club, so notice how the graphical representation is different. And I also did not have a 1 dot on there. I actually had 3, so just understand that. We're kind of moving as we go here. Now, if I wanted to turn on the grid, I could turn on the grid. And then it's going to take me, 41 feet, 10 inches downhill. So that means it plays about 31 feet. And I'm seeing it coming from the right to the left. I just need to get this thing down there. 30 feet. I feel like I have to go right at it. See if I can get this close. Didn't even plan on playing a hole, but why not? I don't think I hit it hard enough. I was worried about the 10 inches, and then after I made contact, I was like, I don't think that's gonna make it. All right, let's see if we can do this again. I'd love to hear you guys' questions down in the comments below. All right, can we make another 8-foot putt? Now, it's something to understand. Another thing I love about this unit, and all the GC units really, is that you can just aim right inside the simulator. You don't have to go up and change everything. I can literally, I know it's braking a little bit right to left, just a tiny bit. I'm just gonna aim right inside my sim, just a little bit right. Maybe I'll even aim a little too far right so I can miss and show you guys, but 8 feet. There you go. And look, the funny part is it actually was braking more than I thought. So you can see that kind of lip there. All right, so very, very cool. I think that gives you guys just a great idea, maybe a little course play idea that you were looking for, kind of a sneak peek before we really dive out and play some holes with the Foresight Sports GC3. But I hope this was a great first look and understanding of technical specifications, options that you have, maybe setup. You know, as far as like an alignment stick goes, I didn't show that earlier on because what I do is I generally just line up my unit because I know it's square to my target. All right. Now, if I didn't have that ability in my simulator, all I would have to do is I would just lay this down. Okay. It automatically detects it. And then boom, you set up your target line. Now, I believe on this unit, okay, let me go into the menu really quick. Let's see here. There's right hand and left hand, obviously, and then there's settings you can go into, and you actually have to set target alignment up, then lay it down. All right, so a little bit different than quad, and I forgot about that until I just mentioned it, but so I can lay that down, all right, and I can go into settings, and then I can go target alignment, default configuration, and then I can set it up with the rod versus it being on 0, okay? So you would just lay this down on an angle, it would lock in, and then you're good to go, okay? So just understand it's a little bit different than the quad. If you have any questions on that, feel free to let me know and I can verify anything for you. So, but yeah, that's what your alignment stick is for you know, whether you're just setting up on the range at a different target, anything along those lines. It's super, super simple to use. Just understand that. So really appreciate you guys watching. Can't wait to hear what you think about the GC3. If you're a user that has one, make sure you let me know what you think. You know, I'll be exploring it. I'll be using the unit as much as I can. I mean, I've had this thing out of the box for, I don't even know, 45 minutes or so here. So it's this is a true first look video. And I like doing this type of stuff where I take it out of the box, set it up, and it kind of shows me the experience a user would go through if they were doing the same thing. And so it's been very easy, very simple. We're playing golf in no time, so I'm impressed so far. Love to hear your guys' feedback, and I'll be sure to share mine. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for more.